You're watching the number one podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And together we are
Road Break.
And it's Wednesday, so it's time to talk about NXT. The show that sometimes can give us really good shows, sometimes it drops and it doesn't give us a lot of good stuff. But at least we got an explanation from Adam Cole. We got to hear from the man what happened and why they pretty much destroy the Undisputed Era. So, Paul, your thoughts on this show?
I mean, overall, this was just not a very good show, and you'll hear, the big news, I'm sure everybody heard it, that happened in AEW, so don't be surprised if, this week in Juan's favorite, Wednesday Night Wars, AEW blows them out of the water, because this show was just bad. I mean, we got the match with Santos and Karrion Kross that we wanted to see, but to me, it wasn't good in the sense that, I was hoping it would have been. It was legit in some aspects, but we'll get to that. But overall, I just thought that this was a very, poor attempt for NXT. I don't know what they were doing tonight.
Yes, family. So thank you so very much for being with us. That's never a poor attempt that you guys do for us. So, thank you for the subscriptions, for the love, the comments that you always give us. Don't forget to support us with this video. Our reaction to the Broken Skull Sessions, this episode, probably one of the best that they have so far. With Sasha Banks, Jean-Paul and I go in depth, her career, her origins, how she developed the character, the back statement, the name, all of that. So be with us with a really cool interview, right?
Yeah, exactly. Go check this out. I'd rather watch this, and I'd rather, always I'd rather watch our content than what NXT puts out. So definitely check this out.
Say a little, in a pretty weird way. It's sad to say, but let's talk about the beginning of NXT, the show. Scarlett was featured because they were gonna hyping up the match with Santos Escobar and Karrion Kross. No DQ, completely everything. You can do anything, no holds bar, all of that. And William Regal was hey, Santos arrived there. No, it's not here yet. So you guys see that they were kind of playing with that idea again, that he wasn't there. So now let's go to Jean Paul's favorite one. No, he hates this, and I mean I'm not a big fan of it neither. Johnny Gargano going against Dexter Lumis, so we got to see the way that completely lost the way. But I was under the impression that they might split this idea up, but no, they're not ready yet for that. So this match, I think it was pretty okay, just okay. But they're trying to tell me stories within the match, something. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Gargano's a good wrestler, good talent. I like him, I don't like this current gimmick he is. And I don't like this feud because, I've been saying, Kushida was just a stepping stone. Where Kushida should have been the champ. Give me Kushida versus Dexter Lumis. I know it's two baby faces, but I don't care. Kushida should be the champ. And we get this match, and, it's okay. And then Candice kind of gets involved. And Indy Hartwell gives me, the Call Me single because she wants to bang Dexter Lumis, which we'll talk about that segment right after here because it didn't matter what order it happened in. And, what's his name? The Austin Theory wanted to get the chair and all that stuff. And so there was just a whole bunch of interference. This match would have just been better if it would have been the same outcome where Lumis wins, but, it comes clean. Now, I know Gargano's the champ, but it's not like you've presented him as a champ legit for this title reign. So what would have been the difference if he lost here clean? Again,
especially with this picture, he didn't want to hit him, and that's because he's traumatized. For when Lumis kidnapped him, so I'm
too much interference for me. I didn't care for this.
Yes, exactly. So Hana Katame right there, of course, and they don't even say the name of it. So I miss Mauro Ronaldo in that. He at least used to say the name of it, but he passes out, and Dexter Lumis gets the win. And like you said, we're going to talk about the segment right there. And you see he goes to Austin Theory, why didn't you hit him with the chair? Well, he feels sympathetic, and they go, what? And it's you're the man that he kidnapped you. He put you in this trauma or trance. What's wrong with you? And then Indy, why didn't you do anything? I kind of think he's hot. So
and that goes right into it. How you said, is the way splitting up? I mean, I think this is the fracture. I think this is it. This is the beginning, and hopefully the end comes soon. Because I don't know, Austin Theory could do so much better on his own as a heel. Gargano should be a baby face. Candice should be baby face. They're just because they play those roles better. And Indy Hartwell, I don't know if she wants to be the groupie girlfriend of the guy who doesn't talk, who looks like a serial killer. That's fine. Yeah, you just split this group up. But I mean, both these segments combined, and if people want to know why AEW kills NXT
and the ratings like you said,
and that's not me saying and that's not me saying AEW is a fantastic show. But when this is your competition, it's pick your poison.
Yes, exactly. So and also Johnny Gargano mentioned Austin Theory, you're going to go to therapy. you're going to go to therapy. No, it's not like Amy Winehouse with rehab. No, not like that. But like, we were kind of talking about MSK. They were actually like talking about how they won the Dusty Cup and all of that, but they get jumped by the Girls Young Veterans. So also like they get taken down, and we got to see Wentz and Carter was talking about, oh yeah, my dad, like he inspired me to be a wrestler. I used to watch wrestling with him every Monday night and all of that. When I was like 16, he passed away, but that ignited the fire on me, and that's why I became a wrestler. So you guys wouldn't understand how much this means to me, being in the WWE and winning the Dusty Cup. But they got jumped. So like,
yeah, great babyface promo by them. I like this promo better than like some of the previous promos they did, because obviously this tugs on the heartstrings. It's emotional. It's good. But then it's like, are we going to see the matchup? No. And now maybe I forget who said they had the broken hand, whether it was Nash Carter or Wesley.
It was I think it was Wesley.
Yeah, so it's like if his hand is broken, obviously they can't have the match. You got to wait a couple weeks for that to heal. How do you cover that up? A backstage beatdown. So that's fine. But when you do backstage beatdowns every week when guys aren't actually injured, you just do it just to pop people. It doesn't make any backstage beatdown feel special.
Yeah.
So that's how this was for me.
They kept doing it, and it wasn't that good. And we go from like worse. No, we're bad to worse. We got Malcolm Bivens, and then he's talking to like Leon Ruff, and he's saying, hey, like, you're not that legit, Jean Paul, hey, things that you suck, and he's like, oh, like, well, we're gonna have a match, like with Tyler Rust. So like this match actually, Paul, it wasn't even a match, because like right away he got jumped, another jump, like you said, from one attack to another attack. Malcolm Bivens comes out, like I said, with Tyler Rust. Then we got to see the greatest wrestler in the world, Leon Ruff. I mean, like, he was put in situations that he should have never been put in. I think is not his fault. It's like the booking that they give him.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't blame him. That would be like, oh, Juan, John Paul, do you just want to be tag champs? Yeah. But some people might be like, oh, they're bullshit. But why would we turn that down? So I don't blame him for that, but I blame the book. Like you said, the bookers for putting.
Yes, exactly. So like the bookers of the storyline. So like he got jumped again from like Isaiah Swerve Scott. So he gave us another swerve. Like right there, he started beating him up, and then he showed it to Beth and also Big Joseph, because Bad News Barry wasn't even there. He was somewhere. He was stuck somewhere, and like he was on the phone or something. And he's like, oh, you guys like suck, and like he's actually full-fledged heel, which I like. But in the end, easy day in the house for Tyler Russ. That's when you just go and they said, oh, you have the day off. Whee!
Exactly. You're like, oh, it's a snow day, and you're like, they're like, oh, you don't have to come in, the store's closed, and you're like,
exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, like now this beatdown I didn't mind because of the match from last week. But it just, like you said, it felt so weak and so shitty when we saw one in the previous segment. So
exactly, you're like, you can be followed like 2 beatdowns in a row. So let's go and talk about our boy, because this was the funniest thing ever. Our boy, like, who was watching Teddy Biasi in his really popular promo that like he makes bounce like 10 times like the basketball, and then the kid was about to do it, and then he kicked the ball, but like he tries to do the same thing, but like no, he doesn't do it right. So he keeps giving $1,000 to this like I think it's one of the cameraman or one of the crew, right? Yes. Like he's like, no, I'm making sure it's right, Jean Paul. I'm gonna make sure it's right. I'm gonna make sure I'm doing it right. So at least Cameron adds that funny aspect, and it's still serious but funny. Like he doesn't go into like, oh, he's a joke.
I didn't mind it when they did it this time, but then they did it a next segment, and I don't know if that was one of the new Performance Center signees, because they signed the
biggest crowd, the largest class.
This newest batch that they brought in is the most that they've ever brought in at one time. And I get you see she's taller than Cameron Grimes, and I think they said she was a former women's basketball player and stuff. So obviously she has skill and talent with basketball. So she was dribbling it, and then it was I think he tried to smack it away, and she dodged or something.
He tried to pick it, and then she just hide it, just like a basketball player.
Yeah. So obviously then he had to pay. So the first segment was funny, and then when they did this one, it was still kind of funny, but I think they should have just left it at the first one. You know what I mean? No, normally the sequel isn't better than the first one.
Yes. And then they did it a third time, but in the third time, at least he finally, instead of like let the guy bounce the ball, like he pretty much punch him in the face. So like you see Cameron, he's like, oh, nobody can outsmart Cameron Grimes. So at least we gotta admit, I love Cameron. At least he needs to start having matches though, because this
Yes.
promo, like, he needs to grab something, and it needs to happen now. So next week he needs to have a match, cave in people, maybe put the money down there like we mentioned. That's what he has to do. So let's go to like actually another match. This was actually pretty decent. Zoe Stark, another signee. She's brand new. A lot of people love her work. A lot of people are saying that she's going to have a great future in the WWE, great moveset, and going against Io Shirai. So let's hear from you. Did you like this match? Maybe too long for like to be with the champ, or no?
No, I didn't think it was too long because she looked dominant last week, and now this week, they put her in the match with the champ. This is the same thing like they did with Shotzi Blackheart, a couple, maybe a month or so ago. It's like you put her in there with a champ, obviously non-title. Show us what you can do. We know that the feud that Io has with Toni Storm, and they obviously confirmed that with what we saw after the match, but this was good for her. Now maybe she can, I don't really know any other heels that are kind of floating around. Maybe Mercedes Martinez, because the other two heels are the Dusty Cup winners. Xia Li has her feud, so I don't know what they really do with Zoe Starks at the moment, but I mean, she looked good. Like you said, I like the offense. I like the moveset. She seems like she's a veteran. She's not like, she doesn't seem like, oh yeah, I've been doing this for 2 months and I'm hot, so that's why I'm in the WWE. No, it seems like she's good, and I didn't mind this. I like it, and I think the same thing. Give her maybe a year or two. And, whether she's going to be NXT Women's Champ, I don't know, just because there's so many women. But I do think she's going to have a bright future.
Exactly. So, like, of course, Io won the match. But, like, of course, she missed also the moonsault one more time. So, like, it's like she needs to, like get her eyesight checked out. We love Io. We love you. But it's just like, like, can you just hit your finisher on your opponent instead of, like, on the mat? But like after that, like there was a show of sportsmanship. But then like the biggest legs in the WWE, Toni Storm shows up, and I'm not just saying it. Look at the picture, and then you agree with me or disagree. She comes out and she just says, "Hey, I'm glad that like you just fight everybody but me." So it's like, when are you gonna like get the match? And it's like, get Regal. I think you're scared. I think you don't want to do it. So please, get Regal and let's get the match. Io's like, I'll fight you anywhere, any place, anytime. So, like, he's like, okay, get Regal. So, yes, indeed, in 2 weeks, we're going to see Io Shirai against Toni Storm for the Women's Championship. So, I like this. And, I don't know if Mercedes is going to get involved, but I hope that, like, there's not a title switching here.
No, I mean, I like this. And if there is a title switch, I mean, what better woman to drop it to? Toni, that's the one who always has her number. Unless you want to say the story where, Io finally gets her win over her. But I like how Toni, like, almost goaded Io into the match. Because if you're the champ, and somebody says, oh, you're scared to fight me. Dude, I don't care what you say. I'm the champ. I have the belt. You can say all you want. Why should I just give you a match?
Yes.
You should have to earn it. You just had your shot. You lost it. But she kind of goads Io, and then Io's like, oh, I'll fight you anytime, anywhere. Oh, okay. Well, Regal, sign it up then.
Yeah.
So kind of like almost like dumb babyface syndrome, but like a different version of it.
It was like a reverse psychology. It's like, I don't want to fight you. You got to fight me. Yeah. So, okay, let's have the match. So talking about like, baby faces and dumb the dumb syndromes, like, Xia Li with Casey Catanzaro, Kaden Carter was also there. So like this match, for me, it should have been a little just shorter, just because like Xia Li kind of like sold a little bit of offense by Kaden. But in the end, I think I was happy with the result because, Xia Li still like shows like her dominance. She still looks great. And what did you think of this match?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was good. Like you said, it could have been a little shorter, but they're not trying to job them out like completely because they still see some future in these two women and everything. So, but I mean, I do like the intensity, after the match, Kaden Carter's like, oh, like, what the hell? What's going on? Stop. And then Xia Li's like, okay, I'll leave. Then she comes back in and the big kick right to the head. And then she's like, okay, now I'm done. And,
she broke Casey's leg. So, like, she was completely done. And like you said, the big kick was good. And then, boom, like you see, like, everybody asking for help. So, like, at least Xia Li is still dominant. And we saw Mei Yim. We saw Boa. So, like, it's still the storyline keeps going. And Xia Li said also, like, to Kaden Carter, she's like, you're next. So, like, it's not Goldberg, but it's like, you're next. So, we'll probably...
Yeah, and the only thing I would do legit is just build her up. And maybe, like, if anybody's going to beat Io... I mean, I think you could have Xia Li beat Io. That would be legit. If you're not going to do Toni or somebody like that. I mean, we'll see.
Well, even the story calls for it because you've done all these promos and all of that. So it wouldn't make sense in Io's face. Xia Li could be, heel and all of that. So, Regal, is Santos Escobar here yet? Nope, he's not there. Okay, well, we'll check on you in a little bit. So, we got a promo on the the match that's going to happen next week with like the Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. This is going to be good. I like the promo. I like, how they were selling the match, how like Raquel mentioned about the hole and all. I'm going to stick my foot down through your hole. You're never going to be able to pull it out. So I like this. I'm really excited to see like Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez winning this because they deserve it and they actually look like a better tag team than Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. The story, like we said, this is the team that the story's there with Shayna Baszler and the history, and this should just be really good. And I think beating these two, it'll benefit the Dusty Cup winners. Obviously, they'll be the tag champs, and like Dakota Kai said, we're bringing these tag titles where they belong, to NXT. So
exactly. So like that's what they got to do. I'm looking forward to that match. I'm looking forward to, they need to be a title switch, and what better way on NXT the first time ever.
And then that also what we said, that women's roster is so deep. They signed so many new women as well. What better way? Create some legit tag teams and have a legit tag division for the women.
And yeah, it's been have it right there. Absolutely right. So let's go the Grizzled Veterans against Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. This was just for you just gotta hype the Grizzled Veterans. They're the best team to me right now in NXT. It sucks that they lost the Dusty Cup. They know it. We know it. Even MSK knows it. So they were just taunting right there. They came out and then just said that Wesley is he's the broken arm and the broken hand, and MSK will not be able to go for those tag team belts. So it's it's time for the Grizzled Veterans. So did you like this match? I think it was just to, like I said, hype them.
This was just to make them look good. And if you honestly want to do a hot potato title switch, where you put the titles on the Grizzled Young Veterans from the forgotten team of Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, you just forget they're the tag champs. Yes. Put the titles on them for a couple weeks. Let MSK build that feud up. Maybe for TakeOver at WrestleMania, maybe a TakeOver, whenever the next one is. Build it up for then and do that match, because then at least you do right by the Grizzled Young Veterans, give them a title reign. It might be short, but it's still in the books as a title reign, and go with MSK. But I mean, this match, like you said, this was just to make them look good. And I think the fallout that we saw afterwards with Alexander Wolf, he came and he's like, hey, you used to be a monster, you used to be legit. He's like, what the hell's going on? You got this little midget with you. He's like, I don't understand this.
Oh yeah,
obviously he didn't go into all that, but he's just like, well, it pretty much is like Killian Dane,
But
dude,
what happened
maybe
he joins Imperium. Maybe he does that. Maybe maybe we're there, or they go to Impact and they do legit by design. All of them.
That would be awesome. But I mean, I like this though, because it's the history. Obviously they're not going to be like, oh yeah, Sanity. They're not going to bring that up because but it's just like, hey, we have history. Dude, what's going on? I like this. So maybe this will cause some friction. But knowing NXT, it'll probably just be Killian Dane beats Alexander Wolf in a singles match, and he goes back to Drake Maverick.
Yeah, probably. So hopefully, no, I want to see actually he joins Imperium. So that will be 5 guys and 5 monsters, going by Walter. So that was good, but a ticket to mayhem for the win for the Grizzled Veterans. Santos Escobar finally is in the building, and the no holds bar match that is going to happen with Karrion Kross. This was good. I enjoyed this. I mean, Santos Escobar did not look bad. So that was my main concern that I had before, because Karrion Kross is going to destroy him anyhow, but at least he dominated for some parts of the match. He had all the other members of Legado del Fantasma. So they started outside, with that big car, the trailer or something right there. So they beat each other. So what did you think? Did he jump him? So they were able at least to show that Legado del Fantasma is legit. They didn't look like idiots.
I mean, obviously that's, they're heels, and I guess Karrion is also a heel, but also maybe he's just supposed to be a badass, monster baby face. I'm not sure what the role is, but I wish this was just in the ring. If you wanted to do a Falls Count Anywhere or extreme, or just no DQ, but at least have it start in the ring, not have, I didn't like all the guys from Legado jumping in and helping, because I knew Karrion was just going to dispose of them one by one, throw them off, beat them up. And while Santos did look good at spots, the fact that Karrion was able to overcome 3 men, it buries the 3 men a little bit. Not saying they're done, ship them off to Impact because they have no future here. No, that's not the case. But it's, if you're going to have all 3 guys get involved, have Santos get the win. I know it's Karrion Kross. I know he's legit. I know everybody loves Scarlett. But it's come on, don't 3 grown men, it's come on. That I didn't like.
It is true. In a way, it is true, but they just, I guess they want to show Karrion as a big monster,
which is
3 men.
Yeah, which is fine. But
He even did that this move right there, like he threw like the one of the walls in the Thunderdome or the plexiglass, like they call it. And I like when Santos goes, "Oh, like que comience la fiesta, papi." Like he was like dominating at some point. He kept going with the arm. He kept like injuring Karrion Kross. But in the end, like you said, like the big comeback. And I mean, like, you knew because like the main feud right here is Balor. Somehow it's going to be Balor. It has to be WrestleMania. We have like 2 months for that. So I think that's why they didn't have anything for him. So it's like, let's use Santos Escobar. And in the end, that's what we got. He did like the Saito suplex, and that was
the Saito suplex through the announce table. Yes, it looked awesome picture there. That was badass. That looked good. But see, like, just give me that stuff, but don't have the other 2 men there, and just start this match in the ring, and I will enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, it would have been a little better, like you said. It's just like they had to show like Karrion being dominant. Then he went for like that big shot to the neck, to the back of the neck and all of that. So he pinned Santos Escobar. Then you see like as he's holding the arm yet because he did really work on that. So they have to be careful if they don't want him to get injured again. But Karrion Kross is still dominant. He is still showing that, like, in the end, like you said, is Finn Balor. Finn Balor is where we want to, like, that's the main thing for WrestleMania. And then, he will go up to the main roster. So we've been finally waiting to hear from Adam Cole. They also, like, they mentioned a little promo with LA Knight. He just said, I'm going to debut whenever I want to. So, that's all he said. So, Adam Cole, we've been waiting to hear from this guy. And your thoughts on this? Because, like, I think that the Undisputed Era is absolutely buried. Right? Not buried, but at least dissolved. That's the end of the Undisputed Era.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no way that they can come out after this feud and Adam Cole be like, guys, I'm sorry, and they all hug. And no, it was bullshit because it wasn't even something where it split. Because even when Roddy came out and was just like, what are you doing? Like, really? That's your explanation? It was just, I mean, I don't know. You see Adam Cole, it's just, he's going on his own, I guess. And that's fine. That's fine. Because, I mean, he's legit. In the Undisputed Era, it's like, I know people are like, oh, like, they were so legit, you can't break them up. But how long have we been saying that they're kind of stale?
Yeah.
We're like, they're just always, like Bobby, like one of the 2 guys is always in the main event scene, or the tag team main event scene, the tag title picture. Adam Cole or whoever is always either, the mid-card champ or the NXT champ and everything. And it's like these guys, it's just always the same old shit for them. Let's see something different. Yes, so now we're seeing something different, and I'm fine with that. But I mean, I know a lot of people aren't, but like I said, you can't please everybody, I guess.
No, yeah, and Roddy pretty much said, like, guys, you broke this. This was built on trust. It's like we trust each other. Like, why are you doing this? I've been just thinking, why are you destroying this? And then Adam Cole is just after seeing the footage, he's like, well, I feel like really sorry for what I did, Kyle. I apologize. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. All of that. So like you see, like, oh, he's legit. Like, yeah, we're friends again. All baby faces. But then Finn Balor comes out. And then they take out Finn Balor in like a second. So like the one thing is like I didn't like Finn Balor coming out, and then just like he's kind of part of the story, but at the same time he's not. So like it's like really. So like they took him out, like even like Strong and Adam Cole took him out, and then he's done. But then Strong beats Adam Cole. Like he beats him with like he did like a clothesline or like a big punch, and it's like Roddy, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Jean Paul, all of that. But then, they're hugging, as like I said right there. But then Adam Cole goes like the Roman Reigns way, and he gets a low blow on Roderick Strong. And then he keeps saying, you're stupid, because he fell for it. And then in the end, we get this picture, so that signifies that like the Undisputed Era has completely dissolved. Bobby Fish is injured, so he's not even part of the story. But Adam Cole completely shows.
And they said Kyle O'Reilly's out 4 to 6 weeks, so it'll just be the 2 of them until then. And like you said, the inclusion of Balor, I didn't like that because, like you said, he's the champ. He comes out and they just swat him away like a fly. And then you see this moment. Don't even bring Balor out. Or if you're going to do something, just have Balor stand on the stage. And, he can just hold up the title or he can do whatever, just kind of stare him down. And then that's how you should end the show, the big stare down. But like Roderick Strong, I mean, it's like you said, he kind of fell for it. So maybe he'll team up with Balor. Maybe they'll have this match and Roddy will fuck him over. Or maybe it'll be a triple threat with Karrion. I mean, who knows? But it's like Adam Cole in the title picture. Like I said last week, I don't know what he did to deserve it, losing the Dusty Cup. So now he's, boom, you get a title picture. Oh, you took out Kyle O'Reilly.
Like they don't have anybody else. Remember, we didn't see Bronson Reed this week. We didn't see Ciampa. We didn't see Timothy Thatcher. We didn't see a lot of like main guys that they should kind of like be fighting for this. Like for example, I wouldn't mind seeing Finn Balor with Bronson Reed. Yeah, 2 baby faces, but a new matchup. Or like Pete Dunne wasn't even there anymore. So like. a little different and a little difficult how they book and how like they're writing these storylines are a little different than what they got us used to. So that's the problem. But that's what we got. That's how simple it was to do this review. Family, thank you so very much for being with us. Thank you for the love again. Thank you for the great reaction on the Monday Night Raw, the Spanish video, Sasha Banks, every single video that we do. Thank you for all the love. We want to say hi to our friends of Wrestling with Jonas. You can find us over there. It's like a new partner, like a new alliance. Where AEW can align with New Japan, we can also align with other companies. So you can expect, see us in the Wrestling with Jonas. You'll see Jean Paul, and you can see me, in other shows. So it's gonna be fun. We opened the forbidden door. So when there was this one big favor: subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and where else can they find us?
And then make sure you also follow us on Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, and of course, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
Just remember, family, tomorrow, double feature, Jean Paul in the morning, AEW, Paul White is All Elite, so he's going to be talking about all of that. And, NXT UK with myself, Jean Paul, talking about tag match, Gallus against Pretty Deadly. So, family, you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...